Steadily it rises.
Hey, it's ODB, the Lincoln Addict, coming back with another video here on Lincoln Addict YouTube channel. Please consider subscribing. I definitely apologize if you watched the last video. Someone had indicated to me there was a little bit of a hiccup in the audio quality, so typically I listen back through it. I skimmed through that one kind of quick, so I'll make sure I do that quality check going forward because I know that can be annoying. So what I want to do is I'm going to present my screen here, and I want to talk about a car that typically on our podcast and on our show, I don't talk a lot about the marks. In this case, the Mark II. But I do want to talk about this car. It sold at Barrett-Jackson, Scottsdale, last weekend for a staggering $715,000. Just an amazing car, and I want to talk just a few minutes about it. Now, I understand, a lot of people feel that like this is the most beautiful car ever built, and there's going to be a ton of people that say these should never even be touched. I get it. It's not my car. It's not our car. It's, so it is what it is. People are going to do what they're going to do, and I think the team and the parts on this car, what this team did to assemble this amazing vehicle is just insane. So it's a 57 Continental, 57, I want to say this right, Continental Mark II. Don't call it a Lincoln Continental, as you will see people will chime in and they'll say, hey, Continental was its own division and all of that. So totally get that. But this car, the first thing that sticks out is the name of it. It's called Cashmere. It's a very cool color, and it also has Colorado custom wheels and steering wheel. So big shout out to Michael and team. They're one of our vendors that we highly promote on Lincoln Addict Podcast. I've been a fan of these wheels and their products for 30 years, since the 90s. So pretty cool stuff. But this car, I think when you look at it, there's going to be things, again, the purists are not going to maybe necessarily like it, but you look at the door handles, you look at the stance of the car, you look at some of the body modifications, slight things like a chop top, very, very subtle, a modern drivetrain. You can see the brake booster is sunk in there to the firewall. A lot of the body panels here underneath the hood, just, one-off type stuff. Very high-end interior. Again, you can see the Lincoln steering wheel, which is made by Colorado Custom. Just an over-the-top build that really, to me, is kind of in a class of its own. When you start getting to these real high-end builds, whether it's a truck or in this case a car, you really just are dealing with people that are artists, right? They're just great craftsmen or craftswomen, and just are building some amazing vehicles. So I love seeing this stuff. You can see all of the controls there in the custom center console. You can see the brake pedal there, a little bit different setup, obviously going to be with the modern drivetrain. We're going to look at some of the names in a moment that you'll see associated with this car build, and I think it will reinforce why. And some of the names or products you may not know, but I can tell you when you get to this level of a build, this really reminds me of the 62 that Joe at Weld County Customs built. Like if you think of the colors and the Coyote swap itself and some of the one-off pieces, these are very, very, very high-end builds. And sure, most of us will never ever be able to enjoy something to this caliber, whether it's a build or even if you're tied in as a craftsman and you're working on a car like this. I certainly enjoy seeing these cars, whether it's in person at an event like this or in this case, kind of from afar. It also took some prestigious awards going back to, I think, the Grand National Roadster Show, which I think that is a sticker right there. I think it was the Chip Foose, late father, rest in peace. There's an award, I think, in his name that you're going to see here in a moment. And you could just see just really, really, really high-end build, which I think is awesome. What do you think of this car? Do you think this car should have been customized? Do you think they should have left it alone? Let me know what you think in the comments. Basically, here's a quick breakdown. It's known as Cashmere. It's a 57. It's powered by a 5.0 liter Coyote engine with an Edelbrock Victor 2 EFI, so electronic fuel injected setup. It goes on there to talk about the transmission. It has a master shift push button head unit. The build started with a California car, which is reinforcing the fact that the destination sales office would have been in California, and that's a big thing. Obviously, starting with an awesome, solid car. It was designed and modified by the acclaimed Havasu Speed. The original frame rails were box and welded. With a newly designed front clip from Jim Meyer Enterprises. I don't want to go through every detail here, but Coupe Component, that's a big name in the industry. They designed a rear independent suspension for this vehicle. They go on to talk about the big brake setup on it, some of the powder coat that was done, the Colorado custom wheels, the roof chopped an inch and 3/4. The headlight fenders shortened, a lot of body mods, a lot of stuff that you may not even notice. I'll round it out here and say accolades include the inaugural Sam Foose Memorial Design Award presented by Chip Foose. That's a big name, obviously. At the LA Roadster Show, it was. The Al Slonaker, I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize, Achievement Award. Outstanding Interior at the LA Roadster Show. Good Guys Del Mar, first place, a custom rod. Good Guys Scottsdale Top 10 Award in Good Guys Custom of the Year Top 12. So just a truly amazing build. And again, I know some people, you might be watching this video and you think to yourself, wow, like how could anybody spend this much money? Believe me, there are people that spend millions of dollars on some of these builds just to win or to be in the running for some of these awards, like at the Detroit Autorama, for instance, right? With America, or in some of these other awards, like America's Most Beautiful Roadster and whatnot. The money's out there, and certainly when there's a one-off above and beyond type build like this, you're often going to have someone, which I don't know who purchased this car, is going to come along and say, hey, I got to add it to my collection. This is a rare piece of history. So again, these cars are super sought after. There were not many of them built. I actually posted a photo of one of the only couple that are known in terms of the convertibles of these. They weren't technically built as a production, but I might post a little bit more about these cars and some of the history. This one, I would say, insane build. Congratulations to the builder or whoever actually sold it. $715,000. I think it was the highest price Lincoln this year at Barrett-Jackson, Scottsdale. And of course, again, I want to give a tip of the cap, as I did in my last video, to Joe at Weld County Customs. He built this awesome 62 Gold Dust, which again kind of reminds me, if you think of the colors and the interior choices, of course the Coyote, just very, very classy color. So again, let me know what you think. Thank you for all the support, and stay on the rise, everyone. Let's make 2024 the best we can. We out of here.